I think that economic empowerment is the first step towards real equality in this country. Because I think I'm sick of asking, if you're in a position to ask, like, why are they going to give it to you? You know what I mean? Like, when it's it's time for an election, everyone's like, you have the whole people that say, I don't vote. I don't agree with that. You got to vote. But there is some truth to, well, they don't do anything for us. And that, why would they?
Right. And when do we stop asking for
When do we stop asking? And
the day, to your point, or I've been having this conversation like over and over recently, because Philadelphia has some elections come up and people are now putting their bids in. I want to be a council person. I want to be a judge, and they're trying to garner people's support and votes.
Right.
The issue that I have, not with the candidates, but with the voters, us, is after we put these people in these elected positions, we fall asleep. We don't ask them for anything. We don't say, hey, we want cleaner streets. We want to go to an event, or to get our name in the paper or something. But what is the 10 points that you're asking that elected official to do that's going to actually impact and change your community, that you can check on, follow up, and hold them accountable? Because if you don't, then the same practices are going to keep happening. Special interests are going to get all the attention, all the city's funds, or majority are going to go towards their projects instead of things for our community. But again, it's like, if we don't speak up and say something, or don't hold those people accountable, then we're going to have the same cycle going on. And that's unfortunately what's been going on.
And like you said, special interests they're able to get those things across because, one, like you said, they have a direct checklist of things that they want to get done. But they also, the way it is now, they also put money in. So if we were like, look, we will back you if you're willing to do these things. And if you don't do these things, we're not going to back you as a community.
Right.
That would be a powerful statement.
Absolutely.
That would change the entire power. But in order to do that, you have to, one, have some kind of coalition or group, or we have to come to an agreement about what it is that we need first. And that is a difficult process for our community.
That it is.
So,
not impossible.
No, it's not impossible at all. I think we're on the verge of doing that. But that's why I think the first step is to get ourselves to a more equal position of economic power, because if we had more money in our community, if we owned our communities, even if what happened in Atlanta, where I think it was Atlanta, or it might have been somewhere in Georgia, where they voted all the judges were black women, and if you start taking over different areas like that, that gives you regional power in that area. So now you have it's not asking for people. It's like, this is what we want to see happen. If you don't make that happen, then we're not going to go there anymore. And it's not a boycott, because boycott is still a question to me. It's like, could you stop doing that so we can come back there?
Well, imagine this. Imagine if, hypothetically, all the black churches in Philly, let's just say, right? They all came together, right? There's a separate congregation. All the mega churches come together. So now, let's say it's 100,000 people, right?
Right.
Now, that's power.
That's power.
You've concentrated all of these congregations into one voice. You can set an agenda to say, okay, what are the 10 points that we want done?
Right.
And we're going to hold these people. That is power. The other side of that is, or recently I was reading a book, and it's more, my takeaway from it was, it's more important to be a kingmaker than the king.
Right.
And so.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And so, and then if you look at Washington and the different politicians and how things, that's pretty much how it has to work.
Yeah.
It's the man with the gold makes the rules.
Yep.
And it's the kingmakers that can control the policy.
Yeah, control the king. It's like, all right, you're not doing what we want, you're out of here. Who's next?
Right.
And it's important to sit. And, like people always say black power, but I don't think power is influence. Like, power is being able, like you said, 100,000 people. That's influence. That means these people are with what we're doing.
Right.
So if we say, we're not shopping at any Philly store, like say it's a big store, we're not shopping at any Philly department store until this happens.
Right.
You're going to feel the impact because we have that influence. So I think that's what we have to start looking at. We have to start looking at power differently than we do. It's not always just about, I have $1 billion, I can buy stuff. That's one form of power, but
Right.
really, even that's still influence.
It's a collective voice because even if you so here, this is one thing that I'm guilty of or have been guilty of in the past, but I'm slowly recognizing that it is important to study the past. Right?
Yeah.
So, I have friends that'll say, "Hey, we're in 2019. The stuff that they were doing back in the 60s, those tactics, they're not working now." To a degree, that's true, and it's not true. Right.
Yeah.
So, sitting in that might not work. Right.
Yeah.
However, if we were to take that example of the collective voice, right? So the reason that the Montgomery boycott was so powerful was because Martin was able to get everyone in that town or in that vicinity, that region, to not ride buses.
Right.
No one broke the line.
Right.
Collectively.
Right.
One voice, that's power.
Influence, yeah.
That's how they were able to change it. So how could we then, fast forward that to 2019, that we can still use that same collective. However, now we need to bring in social media and different technologies to
and the
organize
question, I
it.
think, is different, right?
Right.
But that's true. I do think.
So I think my point is you have to marry both.
Yeah,
right?
you
It's
always
like
have to do
to
But it's like, you should
technology
always
with
look at,
both,
even if
so
you
that-
think that it didn't work, you should look at why it didn't work.
Right.
It's like,
That's
like Kobe was talking about that. Like, you watch, people want to watch the game tapes where they hit the game winner, but you should watch the one where you missed and realize why you missed or why this turnover happened. Like, that's almost more important
right
than looking at when you won.
when you were.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you can learn lessons from that. I do think, though, like Martin with the bus boycott, that's a different battle than we're in now, I think. Now I think the battle is for equality and not for, being treated civilly, not for being, having civil rights or being considered a citizen. And that battle is different because there's no real, it's not necessarily a tangible thing to be equal. Like, I'm not sure how you would measure that. You know what I mean? Like, he could say, "Oh, now we can vote.
All right.
We won." Or, "Now they desegregated the buses. That's a victory." Now what we're looking for is, equal job opportunities, equal pay, equal, stop redlining.
I would actually argue to say that the same stuff they were fighting for in the 60s, it may not be as...
Right, it's the same thing.
We're still fighting, Eric Gardner is still fighting cases on gerrymandering, voter suppression. So it's kind of sad. It's like, you would have thought that we settled this stuff back in the 60s. It's 2019 and they're still in the courts.
Well, I think that's my main idea is, I don't want to fight those battles. I want to not have to by becoming our own entity. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if we had enough power, right? If we wouldn't have to ask them to do that.
Vote.